and welcome to today's edition of In Bed with Loose Women. I'm your host, Jermaine Defoe, and with me in the studio today, eminent scientist and ethical expert, Constance Eminence, and Olympic hurdle winner, and now gardening expert, Fanny Winklebottom. Welcome. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Now today, as modern independent women, we are going to discuss the week's roundup of the news from a modern independent woman's perspective. And today, there's a very interesting case in Italy of a woman. Her name is Elwana Engaro, and she's been kept alive on life support. She's been in coma, I believe, for 20 years. And there's a row ensued over whether they should switch it off. Her father says it's what she would have wanted, but now the Prime Minister, Silvio Berlusconi, has interfered and said that life is sacred and she should be kept alive. And he has actually used the quote that she is in the condition to have babies and therefore should be kept alive. Now, what do we think about this? I mean, you know, as a woman, what do you think?
Well, is having babies our sole purpose for being on this world? Is that our main goal?
I mean, do you think the chance that she won't have any quality of life if she does wake up relevant or?
Of course. I think, you know,
It's a sad case, isn't it? But I mean, her father's obviously, he wants her to be well, but if she's not...
Her father must know the best for her.
Yes, I mean, what, you know...
That's an absurdly patriarchal point of view, if I may step in and say so. However,
but what do you think of the ethical opinion?
I think, ethically, the young lady should have the right to choose for herself, as all young ladies should. But she is in a coma.
But she is in a position where she cannot choose for herself.
In that case, I think that I think they should defer to the wisdom of maybe a female in the family.
I see where you're coming from.
For example, the matriarch.
But, I mean, you know, the answer is probably for individual choice, but when that's taken away, there must, your loved ones must...
You look to the person that's closest to her, which is her father.
In this instance. Quite right. And if you do have any views on the subject, please do send them to Westminster Abbey blog, and we will discuss them on the show next week. And also, obviously, in the news this week, has been the cancer battle of Jade Goody. She's famous for being on a reality TV programme. She's a single mother and a career woman, just like us. But she's now suffering cervical cancer that has spread. And there's been quite a lot of criticism for the way she's handled the media attention surrounding her disease. Do you think she's exploiting her illness?
Yes, to a certain extent.
But do you think that's maybe a fair thing to do? You know, she's got to provide for her sons, and money, obviously, she's worried about protecting for their future, perhaps?
I see your point. I personally don't think that's probably her main reasons for the being in the press all the time.
No. She does seem to love the camera's gaze.
Well,
there is a very morbid interest around Jade, especially now she has been diagnosed with this horrible disease.
But where does this stem from? I mean, she's not conventionally attractive, shall we say. She's not an interesting, intelligent, modern woman like ourselves. Although, you know, she is independent. But she's not a great wit. She's not a great writer. What has she done for the world?
Maybe that's why people warm to her.
Because she makes them feel better about themselves.
Sometimes our great achievements alienate people from us.
I often feel that you know, we are so successful that sometimes it's hard to relate.
It's hard for people to like us sometimes, I've noticed.
Well, I wouldn't, you know, paint us all with that brush, but people may find it hard to like you. I, on the other hand, am eminently popular. How about you? Have you ever been so successful that you felt that people haven't related to you?
Oh no, I mean, even with my Olympic winnings, I still remain completely, you know, with the people. And
what keeps you grounded?
Oh, being at one with nature, yeah. I always turn to my garden if I'm feeling a little wayward in the world, so that brings me back to earth.
Yes, I suppose you can't feel like a diva when your hands are covered in dirt.
Exactly, no. You remember what you were doing a million years ago.
Yes, quite. I don't think I do remember what I was doing a million years ago. My!
From a scientific point of view, what you both would have been doing a million years ago is being dinosaurs.
No.
Which leads us on to the Darwin exhibition, which has been very popular.
200th anniversary of the publication of Origin of the Species, which also, you know, you have 2 children yourself, Constance, and I believe you're a mother of 4. Would you want creationism being taught in schools, or would you want?
Say it again. I think in schools you should have both sides of every story, and.
But I mean, do you not think that evolution has been proven by scientists? It is.
I proved
exactly,
it. Mine, yes.
Well, yes.
A lot of my work
But you
has
also
been-
wouldn't mind your children being taught that we might have come from a big bang.
I think it's important to teach, you know.
Both sides.
Exactly.
Interesting. What do you think of creationism?
Well, it's clearly quite patently ridiculous. However, you know, if one is going to teach creationism, one may as well speak about birth myths or possibly creation myths from other cultures. For example,
What exposure do your children get from alternative views?
Well, we had a Polish au pair.